Jesus, there's going to be so much to talk about. Okay. So yeah, it picks up from where 7 left off, since 7 and 8 are kind of like basically like an hour-long episode split into 2, essentially. But I'll do the quick synopsis read. IG-11 rescues a child from the troopers. Gideon has Cara Dune and the Mandalorian, whose real name is Din Djarin, trapped. IG-11 arrives and breaks a standoff, and the Mandalorian's group fights their way out. Gideon injures the Mandalorian, and the team flees indoors. The child uses the Force to deflect an attacking stormtrooper's flamethrower back on him. The Mandalorian sends the others through a sewer grate with the child, while IG-11 removes his helmet to administer Bacta to his head injury. Joining the others, the Mandalorian finds a covert group of Mandalorians dead or escaped. Except for the armorer, she tasks him to care for the foundling child like his own, discover its origins, and return to its kind. Turn it to its kind. The armorer fashions the Mandalorian his own signet and gives him a jetpack. The group is ferried down an underground lava river. When they are ambushed by stormtroopers, IG-11 self-destructs to eliminate the enemy. Gideon attacks in a TIE fighter, but the Mandalorian uses a jetpack to bring the craft down. He leaves with the child, and Karga and Dune stay behind. Gideon cuts himself out of his downed fighter with the Darksaber. So, you can tell by the synopsis read, a lot of shit happens in this episode. Yeah, so picking up right where it left off, we kind of find the stormtroopers hanging out with Baby Yoda and trying to find like when they should return to Gideon or what's going on, because since they're out of town or whatever. And I think the notable thing here is they keep smacking Baby Yoda in the bag, and that bugged me every time. Yeah, no, that whole part is just some of the best, maybe some of the best stuff in this series so far. Weirdly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just love good banter between characters, and that's some great character banter. Yeah. Also, like, the whole point of it is just them waiting there long enough for IG-11 to literally walk up to where they are.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's super, super good. And, like, even just the, like, they're talking to each other and just being like, maybe we should do this or whatever. It's like, you want to do that to the, like, did you see what he did to prove a point? Like, you think this is a good idea? Like, they're just like, I don't know. The banter is really good, and just kind of like, it's obvious that they're kind of scared of this Gideon dude because he's fucking crazy, maybe, or like scary, or at least an officer, if nothing else, and they're nobodies. Yeah, no, them hitting Baby Yoda is unacceptable, though. Every time they punched the pouch, I was angry. And then they opened it to see if, like, Baby Yoda was okay. And I was immediately like, oh, my God, he's so cute. And then they hit him one more time after that. I was just like, you fuckers. I was so angry. IG-11 coming back on the screen was dope. And then it made me, first of all, I kind of forgot at the end of the last one that he was around that area. And then I was just like, oh, this is how they're going to make him still a killer, is that his prime directive is to save the baby at all costs. So he's going to fucking murder everybody that tries to hurt it. And he does.
Basically. When he breaks that stormtrooper's arm.
Yeah, it's really good. Oh my God. It's so nice to see IG-11 do some fighting again, because it's been, I guess, like, these have been coming out every week. It's been 2 months now since we've seen him, like, kick some ass. So it's been, it was really, really nice and cathartic for sure.
Yeah. I think the reason they had the stormtroopers punch Baby Yoda all that time is, like, they don't want you to feel to, like, get attached to them, even though their, like, banter's real good.
They're still bad guys.
They want you to hate them.
Sure. It's like the cheapest thing in the book, right? To make the guy the bad guy, they kick the dog, essentially. Like, yeah. And they do that here for sure. They get their comeuppance, though. And I thought it was a weird decision that IG-11 decides to bring the baby into the war zone, but whatever. I was glad to see them all together again at some point. And also seeing Baby Yoda ride really, really fast on, like, his little carrier pouch on him or whatever was fucking adorable. It was so good.
I've been waiting for someone to strap Baby Yoda to their chest this whole fucking show.
Yeah.
It finally happened.
Yep. Definitely does. But before IG-11 gets there, I guess, we get some, I don't know, lore building, character building, where Gideon sets up a giant, basically machine gun turret type thing, and they discuss how he says to them how they might recognize it. First of all, this scene is all like building that Gideon knows who they are, like completely. And maybe he had a like role to play in their past, or at least knew about it because of his role in the Imperial Army. So like he knew about, what was it called again? The Night of something on Mandalore. I can't remember the exact things. It was a few hours ago now. But basically like where they murdered a bunch of Mandalorians, the Imperials. He knew about, specifically, I think he knew about Cara Dune's Alderaan. She was from Alderaan, and the massacre that happened there. And then, of course, he just knew Karga because, I don't know, he's an underlord douchebag dude, kind of. He's kind of like a mob boss lord dude. So, like, I'm sure that's wasn't hard to find information about him. It was interesting that we finally got the Mandalorian's name.
Yeah.
Din. So
Din.
He's still Mando as far as I'm concerned. But it's good to know that he had a name and still does, apparently, I guess. Yeah. And I guess like, so they're trying to get out. They find a way out, but they can't. They find like a grate that leads to an underground kind of sewer system that they could like use to get out of the city, but they can't break it open with what they have, so they're kind of still trapped. And that's when IG-11 decides to come in and just like start shooting everything, which is really funny to me.
I fucking love that mostly the way they get out of the situation they were left in last episode is murdering everyone.
Like IG-11 caused enough
satisfying.
It caused enough of a distraction and like killed enough dudes on his own that like the others were able to like set up and also kill a bunch of dudes. They just murdered their way through the army essentially.
It's so good.
It's really fucking good. And I also like that they didn't win, if that makes sense, because they were still like insurmountable odds, but what they did do is break the line enough that they like had a little bit more time to think and like get prepared or whatever.
Yeah. And then IG-11 could get through the grate.
Yeah.
They finally actually had a way to get through it.
Right.
They still had to run that same way that they wanted to go in the first place.
Being a machine and all, he just, just weld it, duh.
Moff Gideon sets up this fucking E-web cannon.
Yeah.
And then the one who gets to use it is Mandalorian. And
that's so good.
Picks it up. So good.
That right there was some Halo shit. You remember in Halo, just like, or any of the big shooters where you're just like in a third person or sometimes even first person mode, you're using your shitty little handgun or hand cannon or even like an assault rifle. And then like you just rip off the fucking gun off a turret and just like start shooting everything. It was that moment. So yeah.
And then Moff Gideon's like he has such balls. He just like walks out while that thing's going off, and he just like shoots him with a fucking pistol, and then just blows up the tank.
Yeah, that was really good. That pistol apparently is like set to kill though, because Jesus Christ, that was either a really good shot or that punched through his armor. I think it was just a good shot though. And I really thought the Mandalorian was going to die in this episode. Legitimately, it did not look good for a second there. It did not look
good.
Like, really bad.
Although it was always kind of like, they could probably save him, but he really is not going to take off that helmet to let them treat that wound.
And that was wrong, too. Weirdly. Yeah. But anyways, being injured, they all kind of like go back indoors. The the flamethrower trooper just like causing a bunch of shit, and Baby Yoda just standing there raising his cute little claws and like fucking eviscerating him with his own fireball is so fucking good though.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That was having Baby Yoda do that and like use himself up was also important to like get around the Baby Yoda could just heal him thing.
Right.
But no, Baby Yoda was used. His cooldown is he's on cooldown.
Yeah.
It's a long cooldown.
And I mean, he's still a fucking 50-year-old, but like baby.
Yeah,
he doesn't know how to like control whatever he can do or any of that. So yeah, I like that anytime he exerts himself, it's like, oh, he's like gone now. Like this episode he's useless now, this episode. And yeah, that you're right. It is smart writing because they had to write around the problem of, well, just fucking heal him, lol. No, we can't. Luckily, though, IG-11 literally has a first aid spray from the Resident Evil series and just like sprays him with it. So that was cool.
Yeah. After everyone else leaves, so there's no living person around to see his face except the audience.
Yeah. I really, really like that too. Where in like this universe, he's like, I am no living thing. I knew that was going to happen too. Like that whole like thing of like, I can be killed by no man. And then the woman takes off her helmet. I am no man, and stabs it. Like, it's just such a dumb, cheesy thing. I knew it was coming with the I am not a living thing or whatever.
Oh. Actually, referencing Lord of the Rings reminds me of like, I can't wait for someone to put Gandalf's speech versus the Balrog over Baby Yoda turning that fireball around.
I mean, I could do that later tonight even. Gotta get a jump on those TikTok memes, you know?
Yeah, man.
Even though I don't think Baby Yoda's that big on TikTok. Maybe he is, I don't know. Frankly. He should be, if he's not. So yeah, we saw the Mandalorian's face. And I really like it wasn't a big reveal. It was like, we need to get this off to help you. And then he was just a dude. There was nothing, he didn't have a giant scar. He didn't have like a deformed, like he was just a dude. There was nothing special about it at all. And then he put his helmet back on it by the next scene. I really like how like uneventful it was.
I like that but he was a mess.
Yeah.
I like that, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're just like, this dude is just a mess under here all the time, but he looks so cool.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So now comes my favorite stuff, because the armorer is low-key one of my favorite fucking characters in this. And she's
so fucking good.
And she's so good in this episode. It is crazy. So yeah, they find all the like Mandalorian armor and few corpses and few armor pieces just thrown about from probably escapees or whatever. And the armor is still there. They have this whole speech about how he's a foundling like you and blah, blah, blah. And you're going to basically be his father. Like she literally uses the term father or whatever.
Yep.
So because this is the way he is obligated by creed to, as a Mandalorian, take in the foundling until he's able to find the origin and find like its own kind to return him to, and train him in their ways. So here's the thing. I was freaking out and Aaron was like, what, or whatever. And the reason I was freaking out, okay, she made him a signet. But I was like, are they making Mandalorian Baby Yoda armor? Oh my God. They didn't.
No.
But for like a minute, I was stoked. I couldn't stop smiling at this idea of Mandalorian Baby Yoda armor.
I'm just saying, I called that in like episode 1 as a thing that could happen at the end of this series.
Making him a little Yoda helmet and stuff. Baby Yoda helmet.
Well, yes, that he becomes the Mandalorian.
Oh, the Mandalorian? Yeah. I remember that conversation, actually. And I guess technically in the same way that the Mandalorian is the Mandalorian, Baby Yoda is now the Mandalorian in the exact same way. So that's weird.
He's got that. Yeah. But Baby Yoda has that sweet Mandalorian necklace now. He's all set.
Yeah.
He's in the club, man.
Yep. And because they are a duo of master and not Padawan, but like I guess trainee or whatever, that's why he got his signet. Apprentice. Because they worked together to stop that Mudhorn. So now there's a Mudhorn on the Mandalorian's armor. I really like this part just in general. Because this part in general was leaving the tutorial area at level 10 or 20 and like going off into like the next hub, because it's like you are finally able to like use your jetpack or whatever, or here's your jetpack with a bit more training, you will be able to like utilize it fully. It's like, oh my God, they literally upgraded his gear and gave him his they gave him his flying mount is what they did. And it's so fucking funny to me. This whole part is great. Not least of all that after all of this is done, they continue like escaping, and some troopers come down and start hassling her, and she kicks their fucking ass with her smithing gear.
So good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, no, this is why she can stay here. She just murders everyone that comes to mess with her.
Yeah.
Also, when she smashes that stormtrooper's mask and it shatters, oh, that's so good.
So have we seen that in Star Wars? Like we've seen them get shot.
So. I don't think we've ever seen them just shatter.
Yeah. I don't think so. We've definitely seen the wreckage of shattered stuff before, but I don't think we've ever seen someone get hit so hard with something so strong that it fucking broke the mask. And we've seen them get hit with like lasers and like explosions and shit. So she's strong is what I'm saying. Also the one that she downs like at the very end of the fight, and it's just like a little bit off screen, she smashes a hammer down into his like sternum or something. You just see like pieces of armor fly off into frame. Oh, it's so good. God, she's such a fucking badass.
It's just like I like changing the meaning of like when she says she can't go with it. No, I can't go. I'm too high level for you.
Yeah. I have to stay here because I'm the NPC guarding this hub. Like she reminds me of like in WoW when you're level 60 and you go to like raid another like an opposing faction and their guards are still skulls. She's that. So yeah, there's a lot of MMO comparisons for me with this show. I just wish this was an MMO, honestly. Okay, so this is where this show felt like this episode felt like two different shows to me. This is where, in my mind, episode 2 of chapter 8 starts, where they are in the sewers going down a lava river, which for some reason doesn't feel like the same fucking episode anymore to me.
That fucking lava droid piloting that boat, though.
Yeah.
It's like an R2 unit, and then it stands up and has arms. Man,
it like breaks itself out of the like welding and the like ash and stuff. Out of the molten, like dried up molten lava. Yeah, that's really, really good.
Motherfucker, I have legs.
And he's kind of just like humming a little bit too while going down the river.
He's just standing on a boat. Why does he need legs? He's got legs.
Yeah.
I guess he has legs so he can walk in the like that's probably why he has them.
Or at least to get in the boat and out of it, probably.
Yeah.
Because those were some high like ledges or whatever, sides.
Mm-hmm.
So this part is weird because there's a discussion about how they're going to be ambushed by stormtroopers and they're going to get caught or killed or whatever because they can't fight back. And IG-11 is like, I'm still programmed to self-destruct though. and this is the weird part where the Mandalorian is actually sad about it, and the fucking robot calls him out on it. He's like, I'm a care droid. I've been reading, I can read your like body language basically, or your voice signature. It's just like, you motherfucker. He called him out on caring for this goddamn droid. Which is really
shot in the head.
Also, that his primary obligation as a droid or programming is to still take care of the baby. So he needs the Mandalorian to say that like he's going to be in his care or whatever to like go to his secondary programming.
Mm.
So it really is kind of like the Mandalorian has to kill him in a way. Otherwise, he would have never left. But like that whole talk of just like there's no scenario where the child lives and the child and I live or whatever. Just like, you fucking bastards, you're making me care about a robot. I hate it.
Yeah. And it's really my only negative about this whole episode thing to say about this is literally the third scene in a row of a character like saying, I know I can't go on with you.
Yeah.
Like,
but this time
they just wrote that trope 3 times.
I know.
But this is the payoff of it where the character actually dies.
He actually dies, yeah. And it's a pretty glorious way to die, to just like walk out into the middle of all the stormtroopers and just be like, I cannot be captured or killed.
Look, there are too many times where someone says, I'll stay behind and die, and they don't like take out the people they're fighting. He took out all those stormtroopers.
Yeah.
They were done.
Yeah, all he had to do was basically nuke that area. Easy.
And also it was, look, this show likes to set up things and then pay them off. And it set up him self-destructing and never gave us the finish. So
yep. Yeah, very, very true. Very true. Not a whole lot more to talk about except for Gideon decides to attack in a fucking TIE fighter, and the Mandalorian is faced to literally use his flying mount to have a battle basically with a TIE fighter. You know, just small things like just Mandalorian things. Hashtag
Mando things.
And I really like that he sucks with it. Cause like,
yeah, no, screws up the first attempt to bomb it. That's great.
Yeah. And he's just like pretty bad at flying and kind of almost died after like almost botching the landing even.
Like if he didn't have a grappling hook, he would kind of be fucked.
Yeah. It was really funny seeing him just get like pulled around a little bit by the TIE fighter too while he's grappled.
Yeah.
Like I really like how messy that fight is of him just kind of like having the idea of how to take it down, but like it's not easy and he's not used to this. Like this is a real difficult thing to do. Losing the first bomb was so good. Yeah, I guess the big unfortunate thing is there's not a whole lot to like talk about for that fight because it's over pretty quick. But the reason being, of course, that like I guess spoiler alert or something, as if we weren't going to talk about the fact that the very end shows that Gideon didn't die in the crash, and he's going to be faced again, and he has some weird fucking black lightsaber knife on him. Energy sword of some sort. So that's a thing, I guess.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That was dope.
What else at the end? Oh, he leaves with Baby Yoda, and Cara Dune and Greef Karga stay there now that they kind of rid it of Imperials. That's it.
I didn't honestly see that part coming, and I kind of loved it. It's like, no, if I can stay here, it's great. All the stormtroopers are dead.
Yeah.
Clean that up. Look, Greef Karga's his plan worked out. He just wanted to kill all the Imperials so he could take his city back over.
Yeah, and it worked. He even said, like, it's a nice place. It's a nice planet. or whatever. Some of my favorite people are bounty hunters.
Some of my favorite people are bounty hunters.
There's definitely some good shit in here for sure.
Yeah. I still wish Cara Dune had gone with Mando though.
She has some like low-key great moments here too of just like being a badass soldier and shooting a lot of dudes with a gun that is entirely too big for her.
Yeah, man.
I wish she did more in it, but there's so much to take care of in this. I guess I forgot to mention there's a flashback scene where we kind of see the like war, I guess not on Mandalore necessarily, but where Din Djarin is from, where his like parents were killed or whatever, and the Mandalorians are fighting the Republic robots or whatever from like years. And I'm guessing that's probably the Clone War, right? That's happening there, or somewhere around that time. Would that have been that timeline?
It has to be later because, like, I mean, those are prequel era fighter droids, but if they're Imperial, that has to be after.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
Just Trade Federation droids instead.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know.
Anyway, so yeah, it was kind of cool to see other Mandalorians like just fighting the robots and him kind of being jetpacked away and saved or whatever. Not a whole lot to his origin there. I guess also the thing I really like is they did tie it in to the bigger universe finally by the armorer talking of like knowing that there was like this old rumor or like these legendary fighters or whatever named Jedi that like had powers like these and whatever. I thought that was really cool, where it's just like these things apparently used to exist or rumors had it that or whatever and blah 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 when they're trying to describe Baby Yoda. I really like that. Like I really like that they don't know anything about it at all. Is this like this is just like what we know from like the past, like the ancients essentially.
It's like, what's his line? It's like, you want me to take him to like a group of enemy sorcerers? Like, this is the way.
This is the way. And I also like that in the description, the Jedi were the Mandalorians' enemies also.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not like fervently, but they were considered an enemy. And so much that he asked like, so this is an enemy? And she's like, no, not this one or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like that lore building. I really like that Mando lore, you know? Mando lore. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It has been also, I'm sure like this doesn't surprise anybody, and I retweeted it earlier. It has been confirmed that season 2 is coming out in 2020.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I want more of this so bad.
I can't wait anymore. It's been 12 hours maybe, and I can't wait anymore. It hasn't even been 12 hours. It's been like 8 maybe. Yeah, it's really good. It's easily giving me faith that I actually still like Star Wars stuff, because it's just like, this is Star Wars done in a way that I really, really enjoy. I can't wait for more of this. It's just so clever and like so charming, and I really, really hope they don't do Teenage Yoda at some point, because Teenage Yoda would be the shittiest. But I have a feeling they're going to, when he's like 200 years old or something. He's just going to be like, you're not my real dad. You don't even have green skin. Like, 200-year-old Yoda is the worst. That was a weird sentence to say. I don't know what else I can say about this show, though. I've like, again, I guess I'm gonna continue my the way I talk about these episodes. I wish this was a double episode. I wish this was an hour long instead of half an hour. Because a lot happens in it, and I would have liked to have seen more. I didn't want it to end, is the thing. So yeah, I'm really stoked about it. And it wrapped itself up much more than I thought it would. I figured that there's going to be another season, but it kind of left it so that there didn't have to be. Maybe if they didn't get signed for whatever crazy reason or something, they had to.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to see more for sure. And I guess it makes sense too. You don't get people like Carl Weathers, Giancarlo Esposito, and these pretty big names for one episode of something. It seems a little weird to sign them on to just do you want to play a pretty big role in one of the biggest names out there, one of the biggest franchises out there for half an hour? I guess so. Why not?
I mean, they did do a lot of that in those two Star Wars movies. Daniel Craig plays a random stormtrooper in The Force Awakens.
Right, but those are cameos. They didn't write they didn't write Gideon Craig or Craig Moff or something.
And there's that
But they did, I mean, arguably one of the things I fucking hate about the new trilogy is giving us Captain Phasma or whatever. I was going to say Captain Fanta. I forgot Fanta's a drink. But killing her off in the same thing. I don't know. That trilogy is such a mess. I wish they had just gotten someone to sign on for all three so they could have done a cohesive narrative of some sort. Fuck. What a waste. At least the Mandalorian exists.
Yeah. I'm excited for whatever Disney Plus shows they make with those characters. Because that feels inevitable.
The spin-offs or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm so in for Cara Dune doing anything.
Oh yeah. A Cara Dune show would be good.
Yeah.
I'm weirdly way more down for Star Wars TV shows than Star Wars movies now.
I know. I never thought there'd be the day. That's so ridiculous to even say, but yeah.
But it just allows them to do the lower stakes stuff so much better. They don't feel this need to serve all masters that ends up making it super bland in a way.
Yeah, no, that's true. The way they all have been, honestly, since not being the original trilogy. Because the original trilogy, love him or hate him, Lucas had a story that he kind of threw and cobbled together. But that was it. He wasn't trying to serve 1,000 different people and stockholders and shit. And you see with the origin, the prequel and then the sequel trilogies, what happens when you're trying to serve different fan bases and stuff. It's just the worst in different ways. So you're right. I'm really glad they kind of have this almost as a weird sounding board or sketchbook that they could just be this seems like a cool idea. Can we do this? It's well, you can't have $20 million to start a movie, but you can have a few to get some people together, write a decent script for an hour worth of show, and then we'll see if it's good enough to make into a small series. I like that stuff for sure. So I want more. That's go figure, I guess. But that's where I stand on this. I just want more forever. I want this to be the new thing until it gets stale, which it might, I never thought that Star Wars would get stale.
That one might suck. Who knows?
Yeah. I just really like The Mandalorian.
Yeah, this was a good show.
This is the way.
This is the way.
No. All right. Well, if it comes back, and when it comes back, I'm sure we'll be doing more of these talks because they've been kind of a fun recap every week.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.